Hi guys. So I don't even know where to actually begin with this story because it's such a weird situation that I really didn't think that I would be dealing with, but it's piled up and now. So I want to tell you guys about it. Kind of want to ask you guys' advice on what I should do because it's so fucking uncomfortable. It's pretty much all this is I need basically a third opinion because my boyfriend is like the most calm person who doesn't get upset about like anything, and I am not that person. I am probably the opposite of that, and I like let things like piss me off, but usually when I get pissed it's like pretty quick and then like I get over it. But this is a situation where like I'm just like, are you fucking serious? So I'm gonna be getting into the story or the current situation of my neighbor being a complete goddamn idiot. I actually really like where we live. Everything else is perfect besides this one situation, and it has to do with my neighbor. Now, I know that I made a video not too long ago about a neighbor that I had at my old apartment complex, and to clear that up, it was not a neighbor that was like next door to me. I lived in an apartment complex that had like 400 buildings, and it happened to be another resident. So I guess it was not my direct neighbor, but a resident who also lived in the same community. So if you haven't seen that video, go watch it because it's a very weird story. But this is, when we moved to a house, I kind of assumed I wouldn't have this problem because, you know, you don't even, like, you'd have to be pretty loud and disrespectful to bother your neighbors, you would think. So I was like, we're fine, we don't have parties, we're not loud, we mind our own fucking business. So we mind our own business, we're like elderly people, we watch TV at night, and we are pretty respectful neighbors. We don't do anything weird, we kind of just mind our own business. That's like the main point I want to say, is like we just kind of mind our own business. We do have a fire pit in the backyard and we use that sometimes, but we're never loud. It's just the two of us most of the time. So that being said, I think we're pretty good. We've talked to this neighbor, and since we moved in, he's always been like, hey, how's it going? Like, friendly guy, right? So when we moved in, I was like, oh, I'm so glad that, you know, our neighbors are friendly. But I think I was mistaking somebody being friendly for someone being way too comfortable being our neighbor. And I don't know if it's because he was friends previously with the owner of this house that he feels that he can just do whatever he wants. But yeah, it's very weird. So to start, I started noticing, like, when we would take our trash out, the barrels would be like extremely full, and like at first I was like, oh, maybe John's like packing a bunch of shit in here, but like I also was like, no, because I know we don't have that much trash, there's only two of us, we're not like a family of five, like there's no way that we're putting this much trash. And then it kept happening where like there would be like a bag of like random trash in our garbage, and it had like stuff that we didn't need in it, and like it would be like a nasty smelly bag of trash, and it would just have like bunch of shit in it. I think it had like diapers in it. One day I saw him do it. I saw my neighbor using our trash cans because they're like facing his house. So I don't know if he just like walks over from his driveway and throws his trash into our trash bins, but it's like, that's really weird. Like, I'm sorry, that's a really weird thing to do. You have trash cans. Like, I don't understand why you can't. I honestly think it's laziness. Like, because I'll tell you why I think it's laziness. Because when I saw him do that, I was fucking pissed because it was like the third time that he had done it. Like, it wasn't like one time and he just like felt like he could do that. It was like the third time at this point. So I go outside and I open the trash can and I see it's not our trash. I saw him fucking throw it in there. So I took the trash out and I walk over to the trash can. I was just gonna like put it next to it if it was full. And it was not full at all. There was like one trash bag in the bottom, and so I threw it in his trash can, and I'm like, I don't give a shit if this guy sees me. Like, I don't even know why he's doing this. Like, it's just because it was closer to him. That's just one example of him being very comfortable just doing whatever the fuck he wants, I guess. they have this light that shines into our backyard. It's like a security light. They have a security system on their house. They have a security light in the backyard, and that's fine. If you want to have security on your own house, go for it. But I don't think that the other person who lived here before, they didn't have a dog. They didn't go in the backyard a lot at night. Well, we moved in, we have a dog, we let him out to go to the bathroom. When he runs around, their light goes on. So anyways, so the light like would go off every time that our dog would go outside, and I'm like, dude, it's pointed directly in our backyard. Like, can't you just angle it so it's pointed in your yard, and that way it will go off if someone's in your backyard? If you really were that worried about it, it would still be in your yard, not ours. Just rearrange your fucking camera thing. I don't know. Doesn't do that. And they have like 4 kids, so I'm like, obviously that's probably annoying to wake up every night because the light's going off, or like, I don't know if it makes a noise or what, but like, I remember one night it went off like a bunch of times because we were using our fire pit, and like he said something like, oh, we're really gonna have to change that light in the back. It keeps going off in the middle of the night. Like, it went off so many times last night and woke me up. And he says it to John, like I don't know what he was saying, like, we're going to not have fires because you're sleeping. Like, we're not being loud. We're just sitting out there, me and him, like, conversing like normal people. What is that, like passive aggressive, like we're gonna stop what we're doing? No, we were not being loud, we were being fine, and he just didn't want to move his light. So he said that back in June. He still hasn't moved his light. So we still go out and we'll have fires, and I guess he doesn't mind waking up his whole family. I don't really know. But that was super weird. And then I'm getting to the big story here, because this is just like minor annoying shit. Like, for example, Halloween, I asked the wife what time trick-or-treaters were coming, and she goes, I don't know, I'm shutting the lights off. And they put a sign that was like, do not knock on the door. Like, instead of just leaving like a bowl of candy outside and being like, please don't knock, take one or something, they didn't leave candy. They're loaded, by the way. Like, they have a lot of money. Like, I just don't get it. And I'm like, also, like, you have like 4 other kids. You weren't like taking them trick-or-treating. Like, I just don't understand them at all. I think they're really weird people. I also found out that, I'm just gonna call him Bob because, oh well. So Bob actually knows my boyfriend's boss and borrowed money from him like years and years and years ago when he was like starting his own business, and he owes him like a few $1,000s and has never paid him back. So that's just like an example. This guy's like very weird, and I don't trust him at all, and I think he has a weird vibe, and like, I just think he's very, very comfortable coming on our property and doing weird stuff. So the big part of the story that's really starting to get to me is that they have been doing renovations on their in-law apartment. They have an in-law apartment. It was just a garage before, and they're building this huge structure on top of it that I'm assuming their parents are going to live in or something like that. But they're building it. So that is going on all day, every week, for probably like a month and a half to 2 months at this point. And I work from home, so it's really disruptive to my day. But like I said, it's their house. If they want to do construction, there's really nothing I can do about it. I mean, if I was in an office and they were doing construction at the building next door, there's nothing I can do. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna say, wow, like, fuck you for doing construction on your own house. You know what I mean? That's not why I'm annoyed. The part where I'm annoyed is that I walk outside to let my dog into the backyard, and there's 3 random dudes in my backyard. I'm home by myself. 3 random guys standing in my backyard with ladders going up to this structure, in-law apartment thing. So I'm like, hi, what are you doing? Why are you in my yard? And they all stare at me like I'm the one who's crazy. I'm like, and then my dog's freaking out because he doesn't like anybody, and he's like barking at them, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were in my yard. Actually, I don't know why I apologized because you're in my yard. I said, where's Bob? And they're looking at me again. They don't say anything. They're not fazed that they're in my yard. They're like, I mean, they were probably told to do this from the owner. I'm like, this is unbelievable. So I go over to Bob's house and I knock on the door, and Bob doesn't come. And at this point, I'm like, I'm so pissed. I'm like, I can't fucking believe this. And I'm like storming back to my house, and Bob comes like scurrying around covered in sweat. He's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, no, you're not, because like you just allowed people into my yard. This isn't the first time he's done that, by the way. He'll just let himself into my backyard whenever he wants. Like if something, he's like, stuff has fallen in our yard. Also, like tarps have flown off of this structure and gone in our yard, and he'll just help himself into the backyard. We don't really know this guy that well. It's really awkward. I'm like, that's so weird. Like, we don't know you for you to be doing that. We haven't lived here for years. We don't have holidays together. Like, there's no friendship here that you should just be letting yourself into my yard. Like, I'm about to go buy a Doberman and just have him chilling back there one day and attack your ass, because that's fucking weird. Like, stop trespassing on my property. And so I told him, I was like, whatever, today's fine, blah, blah, blah. So then he starts taking pieces of the fence down over like the next week, and so now I can't even let my dog in the backyard because he's gonna run in his yard and run out his gate and get lost because he's a little asshole and that's what he would do. So I'm like, now I can't, now there's people in my yard, now my fence is missing, and now I can't let my own dog out to take a shit because you're building something. Like, absolutely not. So just this whole thing has just been a nightmare. And yeah, he just keeps on doing shit like this. And so several times after that, I'm like, whatever, I don't really care if there's a ladder in the yard, as long as the fence is up. Like, it's really not that big of a deal, but like, it is annoying that like it's been going on with the ladder thing for like 3 weeks now with people in my yard every day. And so I went away last week to go home. I had to go home for work, and when I was home, I talked to John, and he tells me, I think Bob used our trash cans again. And I was like, what do you mean? And he said that it was like overflowing with trash when he got home from work. Like, there was like a ton of trash to the point where the lid wouldn't close. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. And then also I'm like, whatever, the trash thing, as long as they pick the trash up and they don't like refuse to do that, I don't mind as much if they take the trash, but it's still very awkward and weird. Like, why are you doing that? And so this was the straw. This was the straw that something snapped in my brain. Also, his ladder had fallen on our fence before and like broke a piece of the fence off, and he left it hanging in our yard for like a month. And I said something to him about it, and he was like, oh, I went away this weekend. And I'm like, I know, but it's been like this for a month. So that was the first time I said something to him. I hadn't said anything to him. I didn't say anything to him about the trash. I did put a little note on the trash, but I think it got like blown away or something. So I hadn't said anything to him since this little incident, and since they were in the backyard, and I just said, can you ask me next time, which he didn't. So the last straw that broke the camel's back for me, and I was like, I'm saying something, was John said that he went outside to let the dog out when I was away, and the gate in the backyard was wide open. And that being like, he is the hardest dog to get back if he gets out. Like, he's gotten out twice, and now we have a special gate because if he gets out, we live a street away from the main road, and if he ran out there, most likely he would get hit because it's a very busy road, lots of traffic, and he's a 10-pound dog. So, and he doesn't listen very well to, oh, come back inside. Like, he does if he's in the backyard, but if he gets out, he knows he's a free little bastard, and it's going to be a challenge to get him back. So I'm like, you just decided to allow these people to go in my yard and not even close the gate. You know I have a dog, you've seen him a million times, and you know I just let him out into the yard. You're not gonna tell the people that go in my yard that they need to close the gate and be careful. And so I was heated. I'm like, this is so inappropriate for you to even, like, that is so crazy that you would just assume that's fine. Like, I'm just picturing what he would think if, with 4 kids, me just going into his yard every day, sending strange people into his yard every day. I don't think he would like that very much. So I said something to him. I said, listen, if you're gonna have people going in my yard, you need to make sure that you tell them to keep the gate closed, because my dog almost got out today. And do you know what he says? You know what he said back? He didn't say sorry. He didn't say, oh my gosh, that will never happen again. He just said, sure. Like, sure. Like, I was inconveniencing him by asking him to tell them to shut the door. So at this point, this guy is not my friend and not a good person, and I don't really give a shit about his in-law apartment anymore. So I'm kind of I'm trying to figure out what I should do, because I don't want to have a full-blown neighbor war with this dude at all. Like, I really don't want to do that. Clearly he's the kind of person that doesn't really give a shit about how we feel, so I'm considering buying a lock and putting it on my back gate so that he can't go in my yard unless he asks me. And I want to know what you guys' thoughts are on this. And I'm like really trying to remain calm, because I haven't full-blown flipped out on him yet. If you guys have seen any of my rant videos, you know very well that I can flip the fuck out if I really want to. And I'm trying to be more zen of a person and be a little more chill and be a little bit more, you know, patient with crazy people. But this situation has been going on now for like 5 months, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. And so since they now have to paint the whole building, they're going to have to go in the yard again, and I almost just really want to lock it. I really want to just lock it and just say, oh, sorry, you can't come on our property anymore. I don't know, maybe you shouldn't have been a dick about it. But yeah, I don't know if I'm being crazy, but all of this shit is just like, really, dude? So let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you think that I'm overreacting, or if you would be like, absolutely not. You know what I mean? Because like, I feel like I'm not being that crazy about this. I feel like that's just common sense and common courtesy, and it's definitely super weird to use your neighbor's trash cans that you don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just crazy and things piss me off that shouldn't, but if you guys, just let me know if you agree or disagree. It's okay with me either way if you don't. But I just am curious, because I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, this isn't normal behavior, right? I don't know. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you think I should do. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this weird little video that I made. So I've been thinking I'm going to start doing more like reaction videos on my channel, and also a lot of true crime videos, because I do love both of those. So let me know what you guys think of that. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.